Blake Shelton just said something on live television that nobody, and I mean nobody, was prepared for. Not the audience. Not Kelly. Not even his own publicist standing backstage. And the second it left his mouth, the entire studio went dead silent. Now here's what's wild. This wasn't some carefully scripted PR moment. There were no talking points. No rehearsed answers. This was completely unfiltered, and it confirmed something fans have been quietly whispering about for years. Once you hear what he actually said, you will never look at Blake and Kelly the same way again. I promise you that. And look, people have speculated about these two forever. The roasting on The Voice, the side eyes, the way they laugh a little too hard at each other's jokes. Fans have always felt like there was something more going on beneath the surface. Blake just confirmed it, out loud, on camera, and the internet absolutely lost its mind. Let's get into it. Picture this. It's a Tuesday morning in May 2025, and you're sitting in the studio audience of the Kelly Clarkson show. The kind of morning where the air conditioning is cranked a little too high, the lights above the stage are blinding white, and there's this electric, almost nervous energy buzzing through the crowd. You can feel it before anything even happens. People around you are craning their necks toward the stage. Someone behind you whispers, "Do you think they'll actually get along today or go at it?" And then the music hits. Kelly strides out first, electric blue blazer, heels sharp enough to cut glass, confidence radiating off her like she was born on that stage. The crowd goes absolutely wild. She feeds off it immediately, pointing into the audience, laughing, completely in her element. And then Blake, denim jacket, worn-in cowboy boots, that slow, deliberate walk of his that says, "I have nowhere to be and I know exactly what I'm doing." The half-smirk already forming before he even reaches his seat. The contrast is perfect. Kelly, all fire and electricity. Blake, all smoke and slow burn. And then the banter starts. Sharp, fast, effortless. The kind of chemistry you simply cannot fake. Kelly fires the opening shot, teasing him about his new song called Texas, pointing out that he's from Ada, Oklahoma, and demanding to know if he needs a GPS. The audience erupts. Blake just tilts his head, that smirk spreading wider, completely unbothered. And then he leans into the microphone, and he says it. "Kelly and I are so inbred. We probably share a toothbrush." The studio stops. For one full second, complete silence. The kind of silence that only happens when an entire room of people is collectively trying to figure out if they just heard what they think they heard. And then chaos. The audience explodes. Kelly's jaw drops. And then she completely dissolves into laughter, grabbing her stomach, tears already streaming down her face, trying to form words and failing spectacularly. She's wheezing, doubled over, completely destroyed by her own amusement. Blake, he doesn't even flinch. He just leans back, arms crossed, smug as a man who planned every second of this. And then he keeps going, "I'm serious. Same managers, same songwriters, same ex-in-laws. If we swapped toothbrushes right now, the tabloids would implode trying to figure it out. Kelly is gone. There is no recovering." She's clutching the desk, tears rolling, gasping for air between waves of laughter. But here's the thing, and this is what most people missed completely. It wasn't just a joke. Blake wasn't being random. He wasn't just going for a laugh. He was telling the truth. Because behind that one ridiculous, hilarious line is a story about two people whose lives have been tangled together in ways most people have absolutely no idea about. And once you understand the full picture, the history, the chaos, the things that happen off camera, that joke hits completely differently. Stay with me, because this is where it gets really interesting. To understand what Blake actually meant, you have to understand something about Nashville that outsiders almost never grasp. The country music world? It is tiny, not small-town tiny. I mean, everybody knows everybody, everybody has worked with everybody, and everybody has probably been at the same barbecue on a random Saturday in June. Tiny. It's less of an industry and more of a family reunion that never ends. And Blake and Kelly? They didn't just exist in that world. They were woven into it from two completely different directions, and their threads kept crossing over and over and over again, long before any TV camera ever pointed at them together. Here's where it starts to get wild. Kelly's ex-husband, Brandon Blackstock, is the son of Narvel Blackstock. And Narvel Blackstock? He managed Blake Shelton for years. So before Blake and Kelly ever shared a stage, they were already connected through the same management family tree. But it goes deeper. Blake's longtime producer almost certainly had his hands on Kelly's earliest demo sessions. The songwriter who handed Blake one of his biggest number ones? He was playing dive bars with Kelly back when nobody knew her name yet. Their session musicians overlapped. Their label meetings overlapped. Their award show green rooms overlapped. You can't throw a guitar pick in Nashville without hitting someone who has a story about both of them. That's the world Blake was joking about. That's what inbred actually means in this context. Not family trees, but professional roots so deeply intertwined that separating them is basically impossible. They didn't choose this connection. Nashville built it for them. But here's what's really underneath all of this. Underneath every joke, every roast, every viral moment, there's a friendship that was forged in something real, something painful, something most fans have never seen. And that, right there, is what makes this whole story so much more than a funny clip. Go back to 2006. A tiny bar just off Printer's Alley in Nashville. Sticky floors. Smell of beer and old wood. The kind of place where you could stumble into a future legend and never even realize it. Blake Shelton is in the crowd. Still riding the early wave of Austin. Still figuring out who he was going to become. And on stage, Kelly Clarkson. Not the polished talk show host. Not the global pop star. Raw Kelly. Fronting a rock band. Belting out Since You've Been Gone like every note was a fight she needed to win. Fire in every breath. After the show, casual conversation at the bar. A few jokes. A number exchange. Nothing dramatic. But what happened after that night, that's the real story. Because their friendship didn't grow in the spotlight. It grew in the dark. It grew through label battles, when Kelly was fighting tooth and nail to release My December the way she wanted it. While industry executives reportedly called her difficult for refusing to be anyone's product, Blake watched that happen. He never stepped into the public fight. But he never looked away either. It grew through headlines that were cruel and unfair. When Kelly made an offhand comment in 2018 and the internet turned it into a full week of attacks on her character as a mother. Blake didn't post a defense. He sent one text. "You're a great mom." 5 words. Exactly what she needed. It grew through the hardest year of Kelly's public life. When her marriage ended, painfully, publicly, in a way that left nowhere to hide. Blake didn't call press conferences. He sent memes at midnight, ridiculous videos, stupid jokes at 2 a.m., just to remind her that someone in this industry actually saw her as a person, not a headline. And in 2023, when reports swirled about her show's work environment and her name got dragged through the mud again, anonymous pizza trucks started showing up on set every Friday for weeks. Nobody confirmed who sent them. Nobody had to. That's the friendship Blake was joking about on that stage. Not the toothbrush. Not the tangled management trees. The decade plus of quiet, consistent, real loyalty. The kind that doesn't show up in press releases or Instagram stories. The kind most people in this industry never find. Now take all of that history, all of that loyalty, all of those years of people watching them and sensing something real but never being able to prove it. And then imagine one offhand joke cracking the whole thing wide open. Because that's exactly what happened. And the internet's reaction? Absolutely unhinged in the best possible way. The clip hit social media before Blake even finished his sentence. Within 1 hour, over 1 million views. Comments section completely out of control. Twitter immediately declared them Chandler and Joey, but in Wranglers with better vocals. And honestly, that comparison is so accurate it hurts. On Instagram, fan polls ran nonstop. Siblings or soulmates? And 73% voted siblings. Not because the joke was confusing, but because fans felt like they'd finally been handed the key to something they'd been trying to decode for years. TikTok? TikTok went absolutely feral. People stitched the clip, duetted it, recreated it. One viral video overlaid Blake's original comment with the caption, "POV, Your work wife is also your cousin's ex-neighbor's former boss. And it racked up millions of plays in 48 hours. Even Kelly's mom dropped 3 crying laughing emojis in the comments of the original clip. And then, Kelly herself leaned into the microphone and issued a challenge. If we're so inbred, get on a record with me. Blake, without missing a beat. Only if I get to yodel. The internet detonated. Hashtag Yodel with Kelly was trending within minutes. And here's what makes this moment bigger than just a viral trend. Back in 2012, Blake told Billboard he wanted to record with Kelly before we're too old to remember the words. 13 years later, fans aren't just asking anymore. They are demanding. So where does all of this go? Here's what I think, and pay attention because this is the part most people aren't talking about. Blake's comment didn't just go viral. It rebranded both of them together in a single sentence. For years, the narrative around them was rivalry. Coaches competing. Egos clashing. Good TV drama. But that one unfiltered moment flipped the entire script. Now the narrative is loyalty. Now it's friendship that survived everything the industry threw at them. And that narrative? That is worth so much more than rivalry. Because audiences don't just watch loyalty. They root for it. A full tour is probably off the table. Both of them have Vegas residencies locked through 2026, packed schedules, families, lives. But a collaboration? A surprise single? A CMT Crossroads special where they spend 90 minutes roasting each other between songs? That's not just possible, that's inevitable. The audience is ready. The chemistry is undeniable. The story has been writing itself for 20 years. All that's left is for someone to press record. At the end of the day, Blake Shelton didn't just drop a funny line on live TV. He pulled back the curtain on something real, on a friendship that was built quietly, tested repeatedly, and survived everything that industry, headlines, and public scrutiny could throw at it. The roasting is real. The loyalty is real. The chaos is real. And maybe that's what we all suspected all along. Not drama. Not a secret. Just two people who genuinely, completely, have each other's backs, and aren't afraid to say it in the most absurd way possible on national television. Now I want to hear from you. And I'm asking something specific. Do you think Blake and Kelly would actually record a song together? Or is the friendship better when it stays off the record? Drop your answer in the comments. I read every single one. And if this video hit different for you, you already know what to do. See you in the next one.